Hello to my millions and millions of fans watching my devlogs. I have a big one coming up because GDC is on its way, swiftly approaching, so I wanted to do as much work as I could. So this might be a little bit of a lengthy video, but I'm going to start with all the changes that have been made to the fish scenario, and then go to the electric scenario, as well as what we can expect coming up here shortly. For the fish scenario, I haven't worked much on it. That has been the other two programmers, Brady and Russell. But today, earlier, just before the sprint actually ended, we noticed that there was some problems with our Fmod. That the adaptive music was not working, and that is now fixed. I could demonstrate that really quick because that was one of the big feedbacks. Was the song is awesome, it's great, and everything, except it can get a little repetitive at times. So, if you bear with me here for a second, you'll hear the normal little tune. And then right here, it's to the marimbas and the tambourines and everything. And then if two fish are caught, then it starts the section of the game where our barracuda, the boss enemy, will spawn in. And as you heard right there, it'll then switch the music, and it's now adaptive, so you don't hear the same thing over and over and over again. That has been a big thing that just kept on getting pushed back by more features, but we really wanted to make sure to add as much polish that we made sure to have that. Now, the electrician scenario is where I've spent a majority of my time. There's been a lot of new things added. I will just start it right here. Potential volume warning. Let's see. So we now have the new music for this level, which is not too loud. That the fantastic Luke made. We now have jump fully working, which is from Brady. So what I have been doing is these two right here are going to be receiving. Sorry, let me actually mute this so you can hear me better. These two right here are going to be receiving assets very, very shortly. Arabella is working on that today. So those will be implemented. This is the enemy, and this is the electrician, which is your ally in this scenario. And they interacted with each other, but there wasn't a whole lot of interaction for the player. So that is where I left off. Apologies, let me put my Discord on Do Not Disturb for just a second. That is where I kind of stepped in. So now the enemy here can be moved accordingly. And also, this is our occupied tiles manager, so this kind of just says, is something in this tile, this tile, this tile. And now in the scene, as you can see, the red boxes indicate that there is an enemy here, the ally here, the player here. So those are all updated when they are forcibly moved, whether it's push or swing. There is a little bit of a visual bug. Everything works fine, except for some reason this unit here can move diagonally. It should not be allowed to. Mathematically, it works. I've checked the code. I've ran debug logs. It actually moves down here and then here, but for some reason, it just decides to move diagonally. And it even shows that because instead of using its turn to take two spaces, which is allowed, it only takes one. So it knows that it spent a movement going here, and now it's only here. Another big thing is the punch still works, and on end turn it still creates the hole. The electrician then tries to punch, or the goon tries to punch the electrician. Electrician moves out of the way. So now the goon should create another hole here, and I worked on a pathfinding system I'm very proud of, where with these created holes here, uh, even though if the shortest path to the unit might be a straight line, since the hole is blocking it, it now will have to spend its turns going all the way around. And I apologize. This right now is just placeholder, so it doesn't actually do anything. Uh, and now when the electrician does not move out of the way, if the turn ends, it will run the game over function. Um, So I apologize. I could do this later too, but the game over scene wasn't loaded because it's not in the actual build settings. But the big thing also was, well, what happens, if the electrician is kind of caught out? Like, for example, I should probably increase their speed. Like, example right here. Like, what can the player do? So the player now can actually properly, let me, ooh, I made a mistake. So this hole actually affects the player, so that's why I no longer have enough fatigue to actually save the um, electrician. So let me restart that really quick. But I can just demonstrate it easier. If the player is unable to, or the electrician is unable to move on its own outside of the goon's punch, the player is now able to kind of redirect it themselves. So now if I swing it here, it'll actually kill the electrician, funny enough. But as you can see, the punch still follows. So in the best world, it's kind of, you can move them to create obstacles in your favor. You can do them to save the electrician. A lot, actually, it might look a little simple, but a lot of code actually went into that. Um, Here are my scripts that I've been dealing with. Uh, Looking for the enemies. So I have Goon Move, which this is all the pathfinding and everything that I've created, which has now hit almost 400 lines, um, including comments. I added these summaries because, if anybody wanted to read it, I didn't want them to be confused what was happening. Goon Fatigue, which handles, how many times they can move and attack in a single turn. That is to 78 lines. Um, and then as well as the electrician health is just a simple, that one's only 50. But then the electrician move, since it has very specific coordinates that it needs to move to, and they're kind of on the fly, it's now to 177. The next thing that is going to be incorporated is the electrician. What their goal is when they reach these designated spots, which I so beautifully, if I do say so myself, put them into their prefabs. Once they reach these route positions, they are meant to fix a broken electric panel there. And that's all in the code. That's working fine. It's just the animation that we need to get in there, and that'll really make everything much more coherent. That's why this is kind of a longer devlog. I really want to explain everything and make sure that everything works out. So from that, what the gameplay loop looks like is, oh no, you're tossed into this situation where you need to protect the electrician to fix the broken electric panels while making sure the goon does not hit them. The goon can create these holes that you can fall in, the electrician can fall in, the goon themselves can fall in, and it'll also block the path. There are also puddles to be added, which should be from Russell any day now, and those puddles will also be another obstacle. So you are essentially holding the hand of this electrician as he fixes these electric panels. And I've coded all of that. All of that works. The only thing that needs to change is just an animation to indicate what's actually going on with better, much, much better assets. Um, so yeah, thank you very much for listening to my devlog. I apologize for it being quite lengthy, but I was really having difficulty writing this all down and having it make coherent sense. So I thought a video would be much better. If there's any questions or anything to my, like I said, my glorious millions of fans who watch this, thank you very much, and let me know if I can do anything.